Hi, everyone. I'm here tonight on the day after World Menopause Day during World Menopause Month with my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Jim Simon. Hey, Jim, how's it going?
It's great, and I'm really excited about our talking about menopause today.
Okay, cool. So I always like to start these conversations with why we're here and why I even care about this. And as an OBGYN, I've learned so much about menopause, and I want all women to know that they deserve to know about their bodies. I say to my patients, it's not fair that I know more about your body and your process than you do. So let's get talking. Why are you here? Why do you care about this?
So, I've been involved in menopause care and past president of the Menopause Society for many, many years. And I continue my interest because it's such an important time in a woman's life where she makes decisions about sex and her husband or boyfriend or girlfriend or other relationships. She's stuck in the middle between caring for her great older parents, grandparents, even and sometimes caring for her children who may be young because she's deferred pregnancies, or now they're going off to school and she's faced with being an empty nester. So it's a real challenging time in a woman's life, and I want to be able to help if I can in any way I can.
Well, and what I love about what I've learned from you over the years is that we have so many evidence-based options about what women can do. And, in doing lots of research, and both of us have a lot of experience taking care of patients, number one, I think women want to know why they're having symptoms. I've learned so much from you about that. Um, what do you think about that? How do people respond when they're like, oh, that's why I'm gaining weight?
Yeah, so midlife weight gain and hot flashes, night sweats, disturbed sleep, reduction in sexual interest, pain with any sexual contact whatsoever. These are extraordinarily common, affecting as many as 80% of all women in that 50-ish, 45 to 55-year time frame. It's a lot of women and it's a lot of different problems, and they gang up on women in their lives. So it's time to intervene.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We know perimenopause starts, early in the 40s potentially, and perimenopause being that time where periods start to change. The first time it happens where maybe a period is delayed, a woman thinks she's pregnant, she's taking how many pregnancy tests. But then her period comes and then it's regular for a while, then it's irregular again. So we know that early perimenopause is when a period changes by more than 7 days, and then late perimenopause when a woman goes 60 days without a period. And then, of course, menopause means 12 months without a period. Jim, what other kinds of menopause are there?
So I think you covered it pretty well, but I like to say the best characterization of menstrual cycles in the perimenopause is that they're irregularly irregular and unpredictable.
That's about it. But then also, of course, patients who have chemotherapy for breast cancer. So there's induced menopause or surgical menopause where someone might have their ovaries removed for, let's say, endometriosis. Or I have several patients who have had anal cancer, radiation, which of course then puts them into menopause. So tough. And every experience is different. And so isn't that so interesting that menopause itself happens to all women, but every woman's experience is different?
Yeah, and sometimes a woman's interpretation of her experience may be based on how her older sister or her mother experienced menopause, driving her to either see it as a natural event or the worst thing that ever happened to her in her life. And those psychosocial impacts on what is, as you mentioned, normal biologic event frames a woman's experience in menopause, and we have to really kind of tease those things apart. What is she really experiencing? What is her interpretation of those experiences? And then how can we join forces to intervene and help make it a smooth transition?
Exactly. And also, I think it's really fascinating, bringing up people's backgrounds. We know from the SWAN study that women of color experience menopause differently than white women or women of Asian descent. And, it can be a challenge because I want to make sure my patients know that I might not look like you, but I'm curious. I want to know your experience. I will never tell you what to do. I want to know your experience. And so, Jim being a male gynecologist, unfortunately, I think sometimes he's discriminated against because people
Yes,
say,
I
oh, a
don't look
guy
like
won't
her at
know.
all. I,
Exactly. But, knock on wood, I haven't had breast cancer, and I love taking care of women who have had breast cancer. We don't have to experience the situation to be a really empathetic physician. And, women out there, Jim is an amazing physician, an amazing human, and you would be lucky to see him as your doctor. But too, it's taking care of women who are lesbian, who are gay lesbian, or they are they've decided to change their gender with gender affirming surgery or medication. It's to honor every woman's experience, be she, of color, she's Hispanic, she's Asian. Like, I'm curious, and I really believe you are as well.
Absolutely. And my other little age related, gray hair related experience of helping to develop many of the products we use commonly that are approved by the FDA here and abroad for menopause related treatments, whether it's weight gain or sexual problems or menopause, hot flashes, pain with sex. I've had a little hand in most of them, and that also provides an opportunity for women to experience the latest and greatest, sometimes even before it's available to the general public. So that's
Exactly.
been really exciting.
Well, and I think it's amazing that you've been a part of developing these therapies, from Addie to the hormone treatments that we use to the new ones coming down the pipeline. And the fact that you actually have clinical trials at your office in Washington, D.C., that women are able to have access. I know I've called you several times because, for example, I've had patients with breast cancer who cannot wait to try the candy neuron antagonist, the new one being developed by Bayer, and so it's like, I wish they could be in DC so they could potentially be in the trial and potentially have access, early access to these drugs. So I think it's so exciting that you have these trials going on right there in people's backyard.
Yeah, it's exciting for me to participate in the developments, and there are many women who cannot take, for various and other reasons, cannot take or use the treatments that are available that may be good candidates for being in some of these trials, which is why these therapies are being developed, because there are lots of women who fall outside the norm for what you and I can offer them.
Exactly. And even for those 53% of women who are eligible to take hormone replacement therapy, because as you and I know, it's way safer than most people think. Even among those 53%, some women just they're too scared, or it's just so in their mind that estrogen is maybe not an option for them, but they just can't do it. And it's so exciting that these new therapies are available to help treat hot flashes, night sweats, sleep disturbance, and mood disturbance that we know happens with menopause. So again, so exciting that you're able to offer these trials. And we have so much to celebrate in World Menopause Month. When I first met you at NAMS years ago, my first meeting I think was in 2004. You were doing a
Oh,
debate
I
with
couldn't
Dr.
be that
Goldstein.
old.
Oh yeah, sorry. So well, that dates me too, right? But it's just so exciting that we can celebrate the fact that, for these 6,000 women every day who go into menopause, there's 52 million women in the U.S. We have options, and number one, it's again women knowing their symptoms. And we talk a lot about women having autonomy, that they're able to make decisions for themselves. But again, how can you do that unless you have the information? So I'm excited to tell people about Curia. Curia.com is our website. And I've developed a clinical process, um, and it is the basis of Curia. My mission is to reach as many women as possible with evidence-based information. And at Curia, we're a digital health program that allows women to understand their phase of ovarian function, so where they are in the perimenopause or menopause. Number two, to be able to understand why they have symptoms with lots of great stories and information, track their symptoms, but then also understand what lifestyle habits will actually make a difference. And I'm happy to announce that Dr. Simon is our senior advisor, our senior scientific advisor for Curia. So excited. Jim, tell me what made you agree to be our scientific advisor?
Well, I think a couple of things actually. First, knowing you and the other people on your team is very reassuring and important because there are a lot of charlatans in this space now selling a lot of snake oil that is not only bad for one, but also defers decisions to get good treatment until maybe it's too late. And that's terrible. And I'm really committed to trying to see menopause and the perimenopause through a larger lens. It's not just the symptoms that we've mentioned, but many other disease processes that underlie those symptoms. And Curia is focused on improving lifestyle with a better outcome on these other endpoints, as well as symptomatology. So that's what drew me to Curia, that it's a more holistic view and integrative view of women at menopause or perimenopause with the goal of improving overall health, quality of life, etc.
Exactly. And, just like we learned at NAMS last week, we know that women who have hot flashes earlier have an increased risk of heart disease. And that's probably from such a combination of factors. But what's so exciting is that if women are able to adopt 7 main lifestyle habits, then not only A, will they feel better, but B, they'll reduce their risk of chronic disease. So it's showing women, very quickly to do a couple things quickly, feel better quickly, and then adopt this lifestyle. We call it the menopause friendly lifestyle that then can help reduce their risk of heart disease.
Yeah, I just read an article suggesting that women with severe hot flashes may actually be at increased risk for dementia and Alzheimer's. So, this is a call to arms. Menopausal symptoms, whether they're treated or not, are a call to arms to investigate your underlying health habits, health status, and to make plans for the future that will improve your health and quality of life so that you can be your best self going forward.
Exactly. And with Curia, with the app part of the program, a woman's able to track her habits and close her rings on her water, her sleep, her exercise, her fiber, limiting her treats, her micronutrients. But also, we pull in data from devices such as a smart scale. So you and I know from the Nurses Health Study, for example, that women who maintain their muscle mass, they keep their weight off. And that's one of the reasons for midlife weight gain is women lose muscle if they don't maintain it. So with a smart scale, a woman can see her body fat, her muscle mass, and her visceral fat that we know, of course, is probably the basis of risk factors for heart disease. But also she can track data from a continuous glucose monitor, which can really help her learn her response to food in terms of her insulin response. And then also from a wearable. And so the wearable can track sleep, heart rate variability, and steps and activity. And so all this data together, we like to call it a digital phenotype. So it really helps us put everything together about a particular woman. Again, we talked about how, right, every woman experiences menopause differently. We put this together and we're able to give advice that's good for her.
Right. And that's the other reason that I think Curia is really important. With some of the other approaches to midlife women, we have averages or the norm for 1,000 women, 10,000 women, and the woman sitting in front of you or participating in Curia, she's got her own unique, in your case, fingerprint or phenotype. And we should make decisions that are specific to her,
Right.
not based on some norm or average.
Exactly. And again, I really love that it puts the information in the woman's hands. And, last week we had a reception at the Menopause Society meeting introducing this to our colleagues. And I was very honored that you were there to introduce this to our colleagues. And, that's the thing is I really want this to make it easier and more efficient for a provider to take care of their patient. So let's say, a patient gets curious, she downloads it, and she's able to take this information into her provider to say, boy, my symptoms mostly happen right when I wake up in the morning, and able to correlate with blood sugar, with night sweats, with her phase of ovarian function, and make that visit much more efficient. And there was really good response, I think.
Oh, absolutely. There was a little bit of a spark in the room, and I think, quite honestly, because this time in a woman's life has a lot of information gathering required, I think our colleagues were excited about Kyria because the patient enters her own information, or it comes naturally from a digital source that she is in charge of. And they, the practitioners, don't have to do it themselves, but still get the information in
Right.
an accessible way.
Yes. And that's our goal. And, right now, Kyria is in beta testing. And so we're looking for people to go to the website, kyria.com, and sign up for the beta test, meaning that, it's still in the initial phases. We're already learning a lot and making it better every day. So as people sign up, right now it's free for the use, and we would appreciate then, of course, your feedback, to understand what works, what doesn't. We also care a lot about privacy, and so we're being very careful with any information that you give us to the site. We've taken every precaution possible to make sure that the data stays as secure as possible. And so, again, I'm so thankful for this opportunity, and I look forward to coming to DC, and we can do some more events and just pull people in to know that they don't have to suffer. They deserve a good menopause.
Absolutely. Thanks for
Republican or
having me.
Democrat, you're in DC, right? So
Uh,
no
uh,
matter your political affiliation, you deserve a good menopause.
well, I'm in Washington, D.C., 5 blocks from the White House. And every 4 to 8 years, there's a new inhabitant in the White House. So we have to keep our politics close to the vest, stay neutral, and just practice really, really good medicine.
And oh my gosh, we love what we do. So thank you again, Jim. Have a great night, and everyone stay safe and have a good menopause.
Thank you.